Do you hate yourself sometimes? Do you have this pattern of self-hate? Self-love and self-hate are such opposites, right? And maybe you're somebody who, like me, can vacillate. That's actually a coping mechanism, self-hate, developed in childhood. We do that to stay safe, and then we're locked in and we also cannot receive love. Let's go through these slides. Journey with me. These ones are very personal to me. Okay, let's read it. If I'm triggered, I will take care of myself instead of turn against myself. This is completely me, right? Like, this is my goal. When triggered, my tendency is to turn against me. How about you? Okay, so a transformative journey towards self-compassion inspired by me, Sarah Falter's profound wisdom on emotional healing and personal growth. So I don't know who this will reach, right? But like I know I'm not alone with this pattern. And so let me share my experience. Maybe it can help somebody. Understanding emotional triggers. Ooh, look at this picture. Emotional processing, very showy. Look, our brain stem, all this stuff lighting up and firing. What happens in our minds and in our bodies when we're emotionally activated? Like a trigger is just, something happens. It's frequently very small. It could be a smell, a sound, something somebody says that you're like, whoa, why am I reacting so big? Right? And by the way, you're not over dramatic. It's not an overreaction. It's just triggering something from childhood. So right there, that should give you some compassion, give me some compassion towards myself, right? So the key is to like distance. I love how in Isha Judd's system, when I practiced that, it was like, I don't know if they said this or I imagined this. They probably said it. Like they're whoever triggered you is like on the surface of the ocean, right? And they're just like have distance, right? And you're on the bottom in your consciousness. Like this is the goal to have distance from that and see what's really going on because it's your stuff, it's my stuff, right? Yeah, and when we can not turn against us and have love there, it's super interesting too. And it's easy because you'll see that it's a child part. It's easy to love that scared child, right? So the brain responds, the amygdala hijack occurs within milliseconds. Boom! Flooding our system with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, before conscious thought can intervene. So one thing I try to do is like practice pause, like, God help me pause before I like, react in an inappropriate way, right? Physical sensations, your heart rate increases, breathing becomes shallow. My favorite thing to intervene is breath work, singing, chanting, breathing in rhythm, soma breath, if I really need clarity, I really like to do the hypoxia with breath holds because it gives me like a deep meditation, and sometimes I can get clarity of thought then, like what's really happening, connect with something, frequently tears, right? Okay, your muscles tense. We may experience trembling, sweating, digestive issues. Um, what else happens when you're triggered? You get emotionally overwhelmed. So if you're somebody like me, you might be like wanting to eat or wanting to smoke or wanting to, right? Like these things to calm that down. But let's choose healthy ones. Let's support each other in choosing healthy ones, right? Logic becomes clouded. Intense emotions dominate our mental landscape, making rational responses feel impossible in the moment. Yeah, but let's bring compassion to this. It's messy, right? And it's also interesting and beautiful if we can connect. So let's talk about the automatic response. Why do we turn against ourselves when triggered? Well, I already mentioned, like my belief, which I learned from Teal Swan, is that self-hate is a coping mechanism. We all develop different coping mechanisms to stay safe in childhood, right? And I don't mean like physically safe. Like I was raised in a safe home, right? but I didn't emotionally feel safe. And so turn against myself, nobody's going to hurt me, and also love can't get in. So like you grow up and you still have these patterns and they're super outdated and they're unhelpful. Like I want to receive love, right? So, okay. Why do we turn against ourselves? Um, let's see what they say here. Let's see what AI came up with. Learned patterns. Self-attack stems from childhood experiences where we learned our emotions were wrong or too much. Yeah, that's true. That's true for me. These neural pathways become our default response to distress. Yeah, it's just a rut. Internalized critical voices, fear of abandonment, shame-based coping mechanisms. Yeah, go be alone and eat. Go smoke. Go, SH, right? You can't say the word, right? Different things. Okay. The inner critic's voice. When triggered, our inner critic activates with familiar refrains. It's so interesting if you can to capture, like, what is that? It's so interesting how we're thinking, but we don't know what we're thinking. I don't. I mean, I do and I don't, right? Like when I write it out, I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm freaking out. Look what I'm saying in my head, you know? Yeah, so try that. Try just free writing and see if you're like, whoa. So the inner critic activates and you hear whatever you hear, right? Like, here's some examples. You're overreacting. You should be stronger. Something's wrong with you. I'm trying to think what are some of my basics. My defaults are like, I can't do it. It's too much, and again, and stuff against me. I can't think right now what they are, exactly, but it'll be very, very self-hating. The way we talk to ourselves becomes the voice that guides our healing journey. So, my boyfriend and business partner creates custom sonic self-talk for people. He's done it for me, and it's amazing because it overrides some of this, right? Like, whatever your patterns are, whatever your self-talk is that is not great. So, like in my example, with self-hate or with worry. Um, so he created some for me on worry that counters that, right? And you can just put it in your earbuds, listen while you don't even have to like fully consciously listen. It's great sometimes to repeat these statements. I work with people like this too, changing statements and then repeating them. It's really powerful. But also, you can have it in the background. I can put on this worry track and just have that sort of override my brain, right? When my brain's in one of these ruts while I do the dishes or whatever. Self-talk, yeah. Self-abandonment versus self-advocacy. Self-abandonment looks like it's really sad, right? Like it's sad that we do. I think it's sad that I abandon myself. Like I think it's sad that if you abandon yourself, right? What does that look like? Dismissing your feelings, pushing through pain without acknowledgement, numbing emotions with unhealthy behaviors. It's the voice that says, just get over it. Or like doesn't allow myself to have that time. And the thing is, it's the perfect time to go in and connect with something. But we don't want to. Like it's scary, right? Like, you know. Okay. And if you're against yourself, like you're less likely to give that to you, right? So it's tricky. Self-advocacy looks like honoring your emotional experience, even if, you have had some behaviors that are not so great, right? Um, like love you anyway. Try that. Okay. Honoring your emotional experience, setting boundaries to protect your well-being, choosing responses that align with your values and long-term healing. It's about the inner work, you know. Take that trigger and use it to connect to you. The critical difference lies in treating yourself as you would a beloved friend. I love that with the writing. It's very clear to me when I see it, what I'm saying negatively, and then if I'm sort of distanced, like somebody else, what would somebody else say to this person who's thinking these things? Sometimes it can be easier to do that. The difference lies in treating yourself as you would a friend with patience, understanding, and support during difficult moments, or a child, your child, right? Sarah falters with my wisdom. The transformative power of choosing self-care over self-attack. If I'm triggered, I will take care of myself instead of turn against myself. This touches me. This is a quote by me, apparently. If I'm triggered, when I'm triggered, right, I will take care of myself instead of turn against myself. Yeah, I mean, it's a strong pattern to change, right? Okay, protection over punishment. This quote reframes our relationship with difficult emotions, choosing protection and nurturing over self-punishment and criticism. Like, how can you get love to you, right? Try the writing, try the breath work, get to those tears, right? Maybe you have some anger, punch a pillow, and then probably tears come, right? A new navigation system. It offers a practical compass for navigating emotional storms with self-compassion rather than self-destruction. Seeds of transformation. Every time we choose self-care over self-attack, we plant seeds for lasting emotional resilience and authentic healing. Practical strategies. How do you pivot from self-criticism to self-compassion in real time? There's many strategies, right? So here are some. Pause and breathe. Take 3 deep breaths to activate your parasympathetic nervous system and create space between trigger and response. This would not be enough for me. Okay, so I am going to advocate for you guys to try something that works for me, which is to override the brain. If it's going so fast, right? Like music. Okay. I have a list in Spotify called My Consciousness, which is kind of funny because it's really just songs I like, right? So it's a wide variety, right? There might be like classical rap, like you never know what you're getting next. But the thing is, I don't know in those moments of being triggered what is going to touch me and help me. But usually some song will, and I don't know like which one, which type of music or whatever will. That's really helpful. Get the breath going, whether you can walk or run, or I like to record voice memos that maybe I don't even send anywhere. Maybe I just listen to it myself. That's an act of self-love, to listen to you, right? And then if you are the type to like blame or lash out, like you're protecting people and yourself from making that mistake, but you can still vent it out and then just delete it, right? And gives you clues like what's happening or what thoughts are there or what's being triggered. Is there a child part or what is it? Name the emotion. Simply say, I'm feeling angry or I notice fear arising to engage your prefrontal cortex and reduce emotional intensity. I mean, naming the feeling, I'm trying to think like, does it help me to name the feeling? I'm aware, right? Like, oh, I'm having anxiety. I did an anxiety program years ago. It was with Lucinda Bassett. And one thing she would say is like, say to yourself, it's just anxiety. And of course, I originally found this offensive. If you struggle with anxiety, you're like, anxiety is huge and terrible. How can you say it's just anxiety? But sort of, it's again like that distance thing, like, okay, I'm having anxiety. It's just anxiety. It will pass, right? Like, actually, you're okay. But I would say soothe it through the body, right? The breath, movement, anything you're willing to do. Music, you could try naming your emotions though, right? In Isha Judd system, they would have us focus on, fear. Are you scared? Are you angry? Are you sad? Right? Like keep it really, really simple. And for me, I notice like a lot of times it's tears underneath, like it's sadness underneath and it needs attention. It wants attention, but it's acting out, right? Like a child acting out. And so what would you do for a child? You would soothe them, right? Hug them if they allow it, or, calm those behaviors. And then what's really there? What's the vulnerable thing? It's hard. It is challenging. Um, Offer yourself kindness. Place a hand on your heart. Speak to yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a good friend in distress. Yeah, again, with writing, you can do this and talk back and kind of use this trick, right, to get around the self hate or the negativity towards yourself by like thinking you're talking to a different person. If somebody else was having these thoughts, what would you say? And then choose a response, the power, right? Like of being able to, even though it's happening so fast, like do some things to soothe and see what's really there and choose how do you want to respond. Ask, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? That's a great question. And choose an action that aligns with self-care rather than self-harm. Don't keep pushing yourself through it, right? Bulldozing yourself. Okay, building your self-care toolkit. Look at this picture here of steaming cup of tea, candles, some books on mindful moments and inner peace. Yeah, I'm in a period right now in my life where I need to kind of go in and do a lot of these self-care practices. Like I'm a little like, what is all going on right now? And yeah, needing to go and wanting to go in more, right? Touch my consciousness, do a lot of self-love practices and like introspective and see where am I and where, what's going on right now, right? Grounding techniques. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sensory awareness. I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about. Maybe naming 5 things you can observe with your senses that brings you into the moment. Try that one out. What can you see? What can you smell? What can you taste? What can you touch? What do you hear? It brings you into the moment because if you are prone to like overwhelm and anxiety, like brings you down, right? A little bit into the moment. Like you think things are wrong, but actually you're okay. You're okay, right? Like I like to do this with people and help soothe people and with myself because that's my pattern as well. Cold water on wrists or face. That's an interesting one. So I've been at different times, not always with anxiety or something, but I just tend to frequently, I get a big bowl, I put ice and cold water and submerge my face. I'll frequently have music going. Um, it's wonderful in moments of trigger, sure, but also like to wake up, to be invigorated, like it's good for you, an ice facial, right? I like to play around with the breath, come out of it, breathe, and go back under. Like, I don't know. It's a beautiful practice. Try it out. Okay. Soothing activities. Yes, soothe you with whatever you're willing to do, right? Like warm bath with essential oils. If I'm in a pattern of self-hate, for example, I'm not going to draw myself a bath, but I will throw on music and that will cut through it and I'll start crying or something. And then maybe I would be willing to draw a bath or something. I don't know. Gentle movement or stretching. I always personally advocate or like myself anyway, dance. And I've met a lot of people recently who they're the same, like with the maybe because I'm in this ecstatic dance community to some degree, and like it's profound, right? Like your body can get stuff out when like your mind is going crazy, right? Like your body can help you. Listening to calming music. Yeah, see what I think it's so interesting what music hits me at different times. And I'm curious what music hits you at different times. Like, do you relate to that? Like one time it might be this type of music, another time this. Connection practices. It's all about connection to yourself, really, your heart, your consciousness, your God, your higher power, higher self. Calling a friend, sometimes my boyfriend, many times he supports me, right? Sometimes I want that presence. So on Zoom while I'm doing my, own practice, but he's there, right? Um, and sometimes I prefer the privacy. So it's whatever you like, right? Journaling your feelings. I would say that free write is a great strategy. Seeking professional support. Create a personalized toolkit of techniques that resonate with you. Keep them accessible during challenging moments. Okay. Break the cycle, rewire neural pathways through consistent practice. First of all, you guys are doing great. I just want to tell you, you're doing good. I want to hear where are you at and can you say like how far have you come? Like, can you show pride in that and like appreciation for you? You know, if you have some patterns, everybody has patterns, right? Like, how far have you come? Like, are you so much better than you used to be as far as like how you handle stuff? And then where would you like to go? But first, appreciate where you already are. Like, I've come so far, right? And I have much farther to go. And that's okay. Awareness. Recognize old patterns without judgment. Choice. Consciously select self-compassion over self-attack. I like to think of a bar of options, like a computerized bar of options just kind of floating in front of me like a sci-fi movie or something. And I like this idea of like the universe wants to give to you, right? Like you just need to make your selection. Literally, like, what are you gonna pick? Okay. So what do I need? And this I pick self-love. And I imagine like choosing this on this bar of options, right? I choose whatever, right? Like a successful career. Like what just choose several, right? I like this. It's sort of like sending out your intention. Integration, self-compassion becomes your natural response. I mean, we have to practice. So really we can even welcome these triggers or difficult times or, you know, because it's a chance to practice. Like that's when you can rewire. You got to do it in that moment because I will want to like do some other thing. Like, let's just overeat and binge watch Netflix, and tomorrow I'll deal with this trigger. And it's fine, but it's most effective in that moment. So if you can work with it in that moment, try to practice. Consistently reinforce new neural pathways. Neuroplasticity research shows that with consistent practice, we can literally rewire our brains to default to self-compassion rather than self-criticism. So this is great. And surround yourself with reinforcements of that, whatever groups or practices or communities reinforce that kind of thing so that you get a lot of help in practicing regularly, right? Real world application, transform triggered moments into opportunities for growth. Yeah, they absolutely are. Have you had a trigger and it was not fun and you didn't like it, but then later as it passed, you're like, oh, but if I'm honest, like there was a silver lining, or I learned something, or I grew, or I connected with myself, or, you know, Sarah's story. So this isn't my actual story, but after receiving criticism at work, Sarah feels her chest tighten, shame arising instead of spiraling into self-attack. She takes 3 deep breaths and says, this is hard. I'm going to take care of myself right now. I like to go to God too. And to me, God means a bunch of different things, but God help me. You know, please give me the right thought or action. Um, give me strength to do some of this stuff, right? Here's another thing, another example, Mike's breakthrough. When his relationship ended, his impulse was to berate himself for failing. Again, yeah, that's one of mine. Do you guys have that one? Oh, I failed again. It's so mean, right? Like you would never be so mean to someone else. Who's mean to themselves at times? He chose instead to reach out to a friend, take a walk in nature. Nature's great, walking's great. These are ones that appeal to me and are easy, right? That I'm willing to do, even if I'm not, you know, being super self-compassionate. And then they work their way towards much more self-love and self-compassion. He reminds himself heartbreak requires tenderness, not judgment. I love that. And for example, with behaviors. So if food is one for you, for example, like it is for me, like overeating, right? To kind of because you want to numb, like it's painful, right? I like to take that as a red flag. So instead of being more mad at myself for like overeating, I like to say, oh, it's awareness, right? Like I observe that I'm doing that behavior, overeating. That means I need more self-love, not less. I don't need to be mean to myself about that. It means something is needed. What do I need right now, right? Elena's transformation. During a family conflict, Elena notices her old pattern of self-blame activating. She excuses herself, practices loving kindness meditation, returns to the conversation from a place of self-advocacy rather than self-abandonment. So take the time. If family is very triggering to people, right? It is for me. You can go to the restroom, do a little mirror work, give yourself a little care, move some physical energy, right? Whatever you want to try, and then go back with a little more intention, right? You can also sort of like take in, if people are triggering to you, you can kind of breathe in their energy and give it back to them, right? With love. Your commitment to yourself. What do you want to commit to you? Create a personal action plan for self-compassion. One, daily practice. I come back to self-practice as the most important thing, right? I get busy and then end up sort of neglecting my own practice, and it always backfires, and I need to come back to my own practice, period. Nothing more important, right, than self-practice. Yeah. Commit to one daily self-compassion practice, whether it's morning affirmations, evening gratitude, mindful breathing. I'm going to get back into a lot of abundance work as well, if anybody's interested to join me for that. Gratitude is huge. Gratitude, like just what we focus on grows. So, like for example, I have an app, a gratitude app, and I'm going to be trying to remember to just track everything. Oh, I like this. Oh, I'm grateful for this. This makes me happy to keep my focus on those things, right? And then those things grow, right? Okay, trigger awareness. Like it's not bad if you have a trigger. You didn't do something wrong, right? Like there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. Trigger awareness. Identify your specific emotional triggers. Create a personalized response plan for each one. Again, this goes super fast, so just try what you're willing to, right? I'm not a big advocate of like spending so much time like writing out this detailed plan. I'm sort of more experiential, like what has worked, and then, just keep trying that. Support network. Build relationships with people who model self-compassion and can remind you of your worth during difficult moments. Yeah, for sure. Like, um, I did Teal Swan's self-love program, and I remember her saying, like, as she learned it, she modeled herself. She found people who were super self-loving, and it's annoying, right? To a degree at first, to somebody who struggles with self-hate or self-doubt or this kind of thing. Um, but yeah, it makes sense to like model after them. Like, what are they doing? What practices are they doing? How are they speaking to themselves? Right? That's important. But I would add, it's also nice for us to support each other. So, for example, I'm somebody who has gone, it's not that I never struggle with this, I absolutely do. But I've also come a really long way and learned a lot of tools. And so I love to share this with people, whether it's in my work or friendships or whatever. And I think that's useful too. Like I'm somebody who really likes peer support as well because we understand each other, right? Progress celebration. Acknowledge every victory in choosing self-care over self-attack, recognizing that healing is a journey, not a destination. This would be about focus too. Like celebrating is important. Focus on every little baby step you take, right? Every little success. Okay. Today I choose to be my own advocate, my own source of comfort, my own best friend. It's not to say you can't reach out to people. We need people. Like I've been somebody who's tried being super isolated. Like, no, I need people, but also, yeah, for sure. Let me be my own best friend. When I'm triggered, so say it with me. When I'm triggered, I will take care of myself instead of turn against myself. We could say it in a we version. When we are triggered, we will take care of ourselves instead of turn against ourselves. So put in the comments, some successes you have here or your struggles, okay? We'll support you. That's the last slide, so I'm going to conclude, but I love you all and would love to connect with you. So reach out anytime and put anything in the comments, ideas for videos, whatever you want to do, okay? Love you.